All right, so what I want you to do first with your group is I want you to talk about and review what does it mean to be congruent? What does that word mean? Turn and talk to your group mates. Mark, set, go. All right, so give me some feedback. What does it mean to be congruent? Okay, so we have, I heard equal in size and shape. What else did you talk about? Call it out. How about our definition of congruence? What does that teach us? It has the same measures, equal measures. If two things have equal measures, then therefore they're congruent. And this is going to be an interesting conversation where we talk about both size and shape because we're moving into congruent triangles. That's our next unit. So when we start talking about congruency, it's not just the same measures, whether we're talking about angles or whether we're talking about segments. We're going to put them all together into shapes and talk about congruent figures. So a little foreshadowing, that is what is coming your way. All right, our very first construction was copying a segment. So when we copy a segment, number one, the first thing we're going to do is use our straight edge to draw a new segment, and we're going to make sure that that segment is longer. Give yourself a clear end point. What you're going to do is you're going to measure the distance from A to B, and you're going to use this compass, and I like this word, transfer. You're going to measure that length and transfer it. So you're going to stick the nose on this end point here, so you can see where I have my bumpy point or my hole that I can see through. That's going to go right on, and then I'm going to put my finger down to make sure that it doesn't slip or slide on me. I'm going to take my slide and I'm going to tighten it when the other end point is exactly in the middle of that opening. I'm going to put my pencil in and I'm going to draw a mark. That mark communicates the fact that I've measured that distance. And that distance is locked into my compass. I'm going to transfer that distance over where I put my marking there, and I'm going to again draw my mark. I have guaranteed through this tool that the distance from A to B is going to be the same as the distance from, and I'm going to name this as C to D. I'm going to communicate that by giving a hash mark telling everybody, hey, these two distances are the same. Now what's interesting, what follows next, is we're going to start proving our constructions. And what I want you to do is take a minute and read through this proof and think about how simple it is. I was given line segment AB. By construction, I guaranteed that the distance from A to B was the same as the distance from C to D, and I guaranteed that by using my compass. I locked that distance into this space. Now, if you're using one of these compasses, then that distance is also then locked in to this space here. And that's by construction. Therefore, I can guarantee that these two are congruent because of the definition of congruence. It's a simple proof, but there's some big ideas here. First of all, this by construction, and then we're reminded of our definition of congruence. All right, so here's a thought question for you. Can you bisect a line? Why or why not? Turn and talk to your group. What are your thoughts on bisecting a line? Yes or no? Bisecting a line, yes or no? So let's go ahead and draw a line and let's think about it. because here is this line, and I can draw arrows as endpoints. What do these arrows mean? That it continues on forever and ever. What does the word bisect mean? What does the word bisect mean? Yeah, so you're going to, if you bisect something, you're going to divide it into two congruent parts. Let me ask you something. Where do I find the middle of this line? Is it here? What if this line continues on? What if it continues on this side? Is this the middle? Is that the middle? Is this the middle? What are your thoughts? Can you bisect a line, yes or no? Yeah, guess what? Can you bisect a line? Guess what? No, you can't, because it continues on forever and ever in both directions. You can't find the middle, because that middle point is forever changing and moving as my line continues on forever and ever. Make sense? Good.